respect and honor their wives. So the family. In chapter 2, into chapter 3, he uses these examples to talk about what it means to submit to human institutions of authority. Now, when it came to government, you got to keep in mind, this is important, this is where we live, right? When it came to government, Peter, as well as Paul in Romans 13, were talking about Caesar. Submit to Caesar. Paul in Romans 13. This is beautiful in many ways, but scary. Romans 13. How about that? Oh, wait a second. Let every person be subject, a command, now that's a command, to the governing authorities. For there is no authority except from God, and those that exist have been instituted by God. Therefore, whoever resists the authorities resists what God has appointed, and those who resist will incur judgment. For rulers are not a terror to good conduct, but to bad. It's talking about Caesar, people. Would you have no fear of the one who is in authority? Then do what is good, and you will receive his approval. For he is God's servant for your good. But if you do wrong, be afraid, for he does not bear the sword in vain. For he is the servant of God, and an avenger who carries out God's wrath on the wrongdoer. Therefore, one must be in subjection, not only to avoid God's wrath, but also for the sake of conscience. For because of this, you also pay taxes. For the authorities are ministers of God, attending to this very thing. Pay to all what is owed to them, taxes to whom taxes are owed, revenue to whom revenue is owed, respect to whom respect is owed, honor to whom honor is owed. Peter and Paul, drinking from the same fountain, are calling upon the Christians of their day, living under a truly totalitarian regime, to submit to the governing authorities in that land. And I think, as I mentioned, the word institutions can be translated literally creation or creatures. Preston Sprinkle in his book on exile says this: the regions his audience was sojourning in were rife with emperor worship. Perhaps Peter deliberately called the emperor and governor creatures as a reminder that they were divine. They were created and controlled by the only one who is divine. Amen.
Amen.
And keep in mind, anything that we create bears that limitation. And it was a message, a reminder to God's people that though they were to submit to human authority, they were to remember that those to whom they submit are just humans with limited power and wisdom. Because after his resurrection, Jesus told us in the Great Commission, he said simply this. This is where it begins. All authority in heaven and in earth has been given to me.
All right.
To me. So again, who's really in control here? Who's really governing the universe? Who's governing all nations and governments and leaders? Who is in control? The Christians understood that though they submitted to the Caesar, they recognized that Caesar never had the last word.
All right. That's right.